This is Jodi Hammer, RPCV and career coach, back with you to discuss winning interview tips and strategies. In part 3, I'll discuss what can and should be done post-interview and specific follow-up actions that can help win you that job.
So you definitely want to send a thank you note. It's, I can't tell you how many people, when I talk to them, I'm shocked that people don't do thank you notes. And I think most of them, it sounds like they recognize that you should do one, but they just don't get it done. And then it gets away in time. And it's like, oh, it's been a week. Well, yeah, you want to do a thank you note within 24 hours. Be committed to doing that. It can be and it takes 5-10 minutes to craft. It's not a hard thing to do. And it can be the difference between getting that job offer and not getting it. Because if they have two great candidates, one sends a nice thank you note, one doesn't, who would I go with? All things equal, I'd go to the one who took the time to thank me for my time, right? So that's really super important. And when we talk about what kind of thank you note, right? Snail mail, U.S. Post System, right? Postal system, or the virtual. Between the two, I would definitely recommend doing, if you're only doing one, I would do the electronic, the virtual, because it gets there immediately. So if it's sent within 24 hours, it gets there then, and they know that you responded, right? Sometimes, as we all know, with as we call it, snail mail, it can take a long time for people to get, especially in a government agency where it gets sorted first and cleared and all kinds of things. So you can't necessarily rely on that. But I'm a fan of considering doing both. Do your electronic one, to say thank you for taking the time to visit with me regarding the whatever position, remind them what it was. Try to maybe reference something they talked about or something you were really excited about that they brought up in the interview. And, looking forward to, you'd welcome, future consideration, things like that. So that's super, I think, important as well, right? That thank you note. And then if you do a snail mail one at the same time, and it can take longer, you don't say exactly the same thing. It allows them to, when they get it, it's like they've already gotten the thank you note. And then a few days later or a week or whatever, they get the other one. And it's like, wow, that was really thoughtful. Like, people don't take time to do like mailed thank yous anymore. And it's kind of a thing of the past, but it really can set you apart. So I hope that makes sense. But also organize, if you haven't already put together your references, organize your references, because oftentimes, generally, they will request some kind of reference. And a tip, looking back to the second part we were talking about at the actual interview, it can be really impressive if you offer a copy of your references there at the end to say, I do have a copy of my professional references, all of whom can attest to my strengths and dedication as an employee. If you're interested, I can either give you a hard copy or send you an electronic copy. That's going above and beyond. Great. So if you didn't do that and you need to put together your references so that they're all set, transcripts sometimes are required. So put together that information, and then be patient, as I said, with follow-up, because that, it does take them some time. If they said, how long will it take? If you ask the question in the interview at the end, and this is another great question to close an interview, what are the next steps? Or what is your projected timeline for filling this position? And what are the next steps in the hiring process? That answer can actually give you really good insight as to when you might start to get concerned. I always tell people, double the amount of time. If they say 2 weeks, don't get concerned until 4 weeks, because more often than not, it takes longer, right? In our society, or so it seems. And then lastly, once you get that, you either get the offer, and if you get that tentative offer, right, for I want to just very briefly talk about salary range, like the flexibility question, right? So you've really impressed them, and you've gone home, you've done your thank you note, they've written back and they've said, we'd like to offer you this position at X amount of dollars, and they give you that tentative offer, right? Or a formal offer, right? Tentative if there's background checks and such. So they give you that offer. Now, it doesn't mean you have to just reply either yes, I want it, or no, I don't. There is some flexibility, and you have more leverage when you are, when they want you, when they've given you that. So you might come back and say something like, I always say, don't take what's on the table, the first thing that they come out with. There's always room generally for at least a discussion of salary, negotiation. So, you might say, what, if any, flexibility might you have with regard to the salary for this position based on my, then you go in and you prove why. Based on my 3 years of experience specialized experience in data analysis and proposal writing, whatever it is that would contribute greatly to the team, they might. The worst they can say is, nope, we don't have any flexibility. Sorry. Fine. You've at least asked. And then to close out with this post-interview, at some point you're going to find out. Great if you got the offer and, you're negotiating salary and you're moving forward. And that is awesome. And it's where I want to see all of you. But oftentimes getting to that is going to take some rejections before, right? And that's okay. We all have that, and it's okay, and it's all part of the journey. So when you get that thank you for interviewing with us. We've gone with another candidate, but best wishes to you, right? The thanks, but no thanks, right? Letter. Here's one of the most powerful things you can do. And again, this is one of my signature responses that I will always advocate for, because it leaves a really good taste in their mouth in terms of how you respond. So instead of just, oh crap, and throwing it away and going on, you can respond and say something like, thank you for letting me know regarding your selection decision for the program director position. While disappointed to have not been chosen, I wish you the very best with your selected candidate. Should you have future opportunities, or should future opportunities arise, please keep me in mind as I remain dedicated to and am confident my XYZ skills could be well utilized. Why is that important? Well, many times the first choice candidate falls through. Either they turn it down, or they don't pass the background check, or whatever other reason. And guess what? If you've responded to a rejection letter and said, thank you, for letting me know, and in this way, I can guarantee you are like in a good position. Like, well, you know what? Let's go back. Let's go to this one. She was great, or he was great. And, that can make a huge impact. So definitely, that can be helpful. And you can also, in that letter, you can also ask for feedback. So you can say, I would welcome any feedback you might have for me regarding my interview to best prepare for future opportunities, or something like that. Many times they won't give feedback, but other times they will. So you don't know if you don't ask. So above all, in closing, I want to say, the key is to maintain a positive attitude throughout the entire interview process, even in the face of rejection. If you follow these tips, you'll be better prepared for your subsequent interview and each one thereafter. And you will eventually land that job that moves you ahead in your own career, that gets you to that dream job that you're working toward. I promise you, you will get there. It just can take some time.
I hope you found these interviewing strategies helpful. By mastering the art of preparation, day of and interview response tips, and follow-up, you should be well equipped to achieve success in landing the next job and moving toward your dreams. Good luck!